Hey everyone, welcome back to another recap podcast from SNXweave, where we give quick weekly recaps of news and important updates from the previous week from the Spartan Council and core contributors, as well as discuss what the Grants Council and ambassadors are up to, so let's get started. Let's start with a core system update. Perps on Base brought in $500,000 in weekly volume in private beta and is ready to slowly begin scaling. It will just be Bitcoin and ETH markets with low limits for now, but the council just voted for LP cap increases to $1 million USDC. These expanded limits will allow testing to continue with a larger trader base, and OI increases should follow as soon as more LPs delegate capital. For markets, trades are continuing to happen on Base mainnet by two integrators, and L1 Perps is being prepared for a second audit and testnet. In other discussion, the Spartan Council discussed asymmetric funding rates. During their call, ML Sudo had a question about the new funding rate and how it differs from the V2 funding rate. There's currently a SIP in draft for this mechanism, but basically, LP capital can generally move in and out freely, but there are certain situations, such as where all of the current collateral is required to back the open positions, where there might be a temporary lock on the collateral backing the system. To disincentivize a perpetual state of locked LP collateral, in addition to the funding rate is introduced when OI reaches the point requiring collateral lock. This also encourages the closing of positions as well as the delegation of additional capital until OI comes back down below that threshold. It can also be thought of as bonus earnings for LPs during those periods where locking collateral is necessary for system health. This wasn't as necessary in V2 due to the abundance of capital to support markets, but will be a critical feature in isolated V3 deployments. Millie asked whether this rate would be market specific or if it would apply to all markets, the supermarket, when active. Fief said it would apply to the supermarket since it's a single blended risk curve for LPs. The markets with the highest utilization are likely to be the markets with the highest rate sensitivity as well. That's Bitcoin and ETH markets, which would encourage more swift wind down of those positions. The Spartan Council also revisited the asset delisting SIP during their meeting last week. Duck brought up the fact that it may not be the best idea to delist assets without a clear path for relisting them on V3. Although there's no data to support this claim, he believes what attracts many users to synthetics is the assets that are not widely available elsewhere on chain, and that these assets serve to onboard new users who may choose to stay because they enjoyed the trading experience. There seemed to be more support amongst the council for delisting assets for which price data is less reliable, such as TradFi listings, or generally more risky assets. Burt also added that delisting based on OI today might not be the best approach, as some of these assets may develop in popularity later. In Grants Council updates, the team has started a rework of the UI UX on the Watcher page in preparation for V3, which is about 60% complete. They are also continuing work on the SUSD bridge UI that utilizes the native bridge over socket and are finishing up review of the Discord burn bot that will replace the inflation bot. Lastly, the ambassadors have been discussing the upcoming Optimism grant season, which starts February 1st and has a submission deadline of February 14th. Matt also recently created an Optimism mission request called Deliver a Best-in-Class Perp Dex on Optimism, for which the ambassadors are seeking input and delegate approval. The council is also discussing future Spartan spaces for this epic, additional projects for their Project Spotlight Twitter series, and finding new lending protocols on Base to list SNX and SUSD. And they just published their latest ambassador governance update on Twitter, so make sure you give that a read. And that's it for today's updates. Be sure to check out our weekly recap blog post, share this podcast link, and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear more about from SNXweave. Thanks for listening.